Hello everyone, and welcome back, guys. I know I say it a lot, but finally back to the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory career mode. And yep, I know I've said it before, and I'm sure I'll probably end up saying it again, but it has been quite a while since the last video in this series. And yeah, hopefully we'll wait and see whether we get back into this more consistently. I don't want to make any, particularly sweeping statements or commitments to it at the moment. But yeah, we are finally back though for round 10 of the season here at the British Grand Prix. And obviously, if you guys, if you can't remember the last episode, to be honest, I can't quite remember the last episode back at Austria, it would have been. Yeah, it was, I think, over a month ago now at this point. But yeah, obviously, if you guys did miss out that video, go back and check it out. It's probably good, I think, if all of us do it, for a bit of a recap on this series. But yeah, we're back though for round 10 of the season here at the British Grand Prix. My home race on the Formula 1 calendar. We have also got another upgrade coming in this weekend as well. And you can see still at the top though it is Racing Point ahead of Renault, Red Bull, Williams, Ferrari, and then quite a big drop off to ourselves, Mercedes, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, and Toro Rosso here. And I think at the moment, we're really just putting our last couple of upgrades on the car for Season 3, and then we're going to focus on obviously bringing down all of the prices so we can just go absolutely ham as we get in towards Season 4 of this series. But yeah, we'll wait and see as to what the future holds nonetheless. But let's jump in though. It's time for the British Grand Prix qualifying.
It's time once again then for qualifying here at Silverstone on what we're hoping will be a tight contest for pole position. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc ferme conditions, so any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long, long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
So here we are then, ready for qualifying for the British Grand Prix. And you can see this track is actually one of my fastest in comparison to the AI. The AI seem to really struggle around here for some reason. Whether, I don't know if it's just high speed, high downforce, I don't know what it is at the end of the day there, because we actually went P4 on a set of the medium compound tyres in our first run in Q1 there, and that was quicker than Carlos Sainz actually at that stage of the session, and normally he is the man that just about sneaks through into Q2 there. But yeah, we did actually make it through into Q2 on a set of the medium compound there. It was quite close in the end, P15 at the end of the session there, but we've made it through, and obviously that'll mean we've got an extra set of softs to use in Q2 and potentially obviously in Q3 if we can get there as well. But yeah, we'll wait and see about that though. But like always, it was Sainz and the Toro Rossos and the Alphas that didn't make it through into Q2. Slowly but surely, hopefully more and more things will become apparent to me again in this series, sort of the consistent things that you remember from every single time. But yeah, moving on though into Q2, out now on a set of these soft compound tyres here. Really going to try and go for it on this lap here. My first hopefully representative time of the weekend here, as you can see through the final corner. They're making a bit of a mistake, but it is a 1 minute 24.559 there. Only 7/10 off the provisional pole time by Max Verstappen in Q2 though. You can see Charles Leclerc does a 23.5. Incredibly quick at the moment here. But as we come through on my second run in Q2 here, you can see really just trying to push the car to the absolute limit at the moment there as we head towards the end of Sector 2 there. You can see just about a third of a tenth up, really not much margin at the moment there as we break down in towards Sector 3, trying to keep the car nice and tidy on the way into the final few corners of the lap. We're really going to make sure we get the car cycled back down the gears, get the front end pointed in through the final couple of corners there, ride the curbs on the exit there, and you can see we have found quite a bit of time through that final corner there, and it's going to be a 1 minute 24.3 at the end of Q2 there, P6 at the end of that qualifier session there, so really happy with that one at the end of the day there. And yeah, we can't complain about that. Right up towards the top end of the field there, Charles Leclerc 23.5. That is phenomenally quick around this British Grand Prix circuit there, with Verstappen in second, Hülkenberg, Vettel, Weber, myself, Hamilton, Perez, Gasly, and Bottas go into Q3 there. But we're going to ride on board then with my full Q3 lap here from qualifying. You can see currently we're on a 1 minute 24.085 as we head in towards our final run of the session here. And you've really got to try and use the ERS very sort of weirdly around this circuit here. Using a lot of overtaking and a lot of medium through the corners here, really just to try and make sure that you keep it nice and clean there. And, you know, you've really just got to abuse the power down the straights as best as possible here. You can see coming towards the end of Sector 1 that we're already a 10th down on my previous lap here. We had a bit of a mistake as we head through Turn 3 and Turn 4 there, which unfortunately lost us a little bit of time there. As you can see, coming through Sector 2 off the exit of the hairpin, what used to be the final corner there. You see dropping just another half a tenth at the moment there. So about 1.5 tenths down at the moment as we come through the old Turn 1. They're pretty much pinned, losing once again just ever so small fractions of a time absolutely everywhere at the moment, as now we come through the Magnus Beckett section of the lap here, trying to get the car cycled down, give ourselves the best run on the exit there, really trying to get the power nice and early there. And we're 3 tenths down as we head in towards the final sector of the lap there, but only a 10th down on Nico Hülkenberg here, which really does go to show how much pace we have through Sector 2 here. But in towards the final couple of corners there, really trying to use the track space up as we head down in towards the final chicane. They'll get the car slowed down nice and tightly there, ride the curbs through the final corner there. Make sure we watch for the wheel spin at the final turn. We found back all the time, and we go 1,000th quicker at the end of qualifying there. So consistency was definitely key at the end of the session there, but it is P7 at the end of qualifying there for the British Grand Prix, and only less than 2 tenths off pole, and we find ourselves P7 there. We legitimately had a chance of pole position in that qualifier session there. Gasly, Verstappen and Hamilton separated by 1,000th of a second just in front of us there. And I mean, yeah, if we found another 300ths of a second, we could have been starting on the second row there. So the pace is definitely there in qualifying. Whether it will be there in the race, we will have to wait and see. But yeah, that is probably one of my most successful qualifying sessions so far in the HAAS Road to Glory. But yeah, let's jump in then. It's time for the British Grand Prix.
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such as the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase, and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Great work from Nico Hülkenberg yesterday sees him start on pole, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Gasly, Lewis Hamilton, Mr. Monaco, Bottas, Weber, Perez, and Devon Butler, Norris, Ricciardo, Romain Grosjean, and Sainz, Verstappen, Stroll, Alexander Albon, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Raikkonen and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
So here we are then, ready for the British Grand Prix, and like Jeff just said, we've got to watch out. Don't take any risks into T1. You know, it's still, you know, it's another Grand Prix at the end of the day. You know, this could be a really good shout for some good points here. But we are ready, though, on the grid for the British Grand Prix. The 5 lights are coming on now, and it is lights out, and away we go. They're responding actually quite well to the lights originally there, but just getting a bit of wheel spin there. Bottas goes straight to the outside before we even make it in towards T1 there. Perez on a look as well, though. We do hold on ahead of the Williams man there as we break down in towards T3. They're trying to make up for the lost ground on the Ferrari. They're hanging them out to dry as we head through the couple of corners there. And you can see as we head out onto the back straight that we have held on to our P7 off the start of this race there. Not quite the way we would have wanted to do it, but I mean, we've done it at the end of the day there, and that is the most important thing at the moment. You can see Bottas, though, still thinking about having a look up the inside as we head down in towards Sector 2 here. But really, we'll say it before and we'll say it again. We just want to try and settle down into a rhythm in the early stages of this Grand Prix, obviously. Where this track is quite high speed, the traction zones aren't so important, obviously, because they're, you know, pretty high-end sort of thing, so you don't need to worry about it too much there, as Bottas actually trying to look around the outside as we head down through the old turn 1 there. And yeah, you can see things about how to look up the inside through Magnus and Beckett's there, but we slammed the door shut on that one there as we head through the complex of corners there. You can already see the top 5 making a bit of a breakaway here. Gasly on a set of the medium compound tyres, though. That could certainly be interesting in this opening stint to see how his pace fares. You can see the Bottas gaining and gaining there, but doesn't think about going for a move as we head down in towards the final sector of the lap there. And yeah, holding on though to P6 at the moment though as we head in towards the final couple of corners. That's certainly a successful opening lap in the HAAS Road to Glory career mode in my eyes, at the very least there. As through the final corner, Hulkenberg still leads the way at the moment there, but look at the drive Bottas has got out of the final corner there, straight to the inside before we make it in towards T1. Then we hang it around the outside, that we're still side by side as we head through turn 1 and turn 2 there. And Bottas is going to try and hook it up around the outside there, and yeah, he has been able to make that one work. And we're unfortunately going to have to slot back down into P7 of the start here, just dipping a wheel out over the curbs there. That was not what we needed, and that hasn't opened up the run down the back straight here. And now Perez might try to have a look as well here as we head down in towards sector 2 here. Perez goes full send up the inside. Is he going to be able to hook it up though? We can maintain the momentum around the outside there. We've got the inside for the hairpin, and yeah, just hang him out to dry there. Luckily for me, the other Ferrari, I think it's Lucas Weber as well, tried to have a look past him as well. And you can see a couple of laps later, that is exactly what Weber had done there. Been able to get past Sergio Perez, and now was having a look up the inside of ourselves as we head down in towards sector 2 there. And once again, just being really aggressive, trying to hang the AI out to dry there and just try to force Weber and Perez to squabble. But look at the run he's got on the exit there. The Ferrari so strong in the traction zones like we've seen in real life Formula 1 towards the top end. That Ferrari is pretty much unstoppable there. Perez gets around the outside as well there, and Verstappen might try to join in the party as we head down in towards the end of sector 2 here through Magnus and Beckett's once more there. And yeah, that was not what we needed through there. We've lost a good couple of places to Weber and Sergio Perez here. And you can see as we now head out onto the back straight, is Verstappen going to try and have a look for anything here? I don't think he's really got the top end speed there to battle us. You can see Weber and Perez still going hammer and tong as we head through the final couple of corners of lap 4 here. And you can see still just trying to stay as close to them as possible there, almost running to the back of Weber as we head through the final couple of corners, just struggling with the traction on the exit of the final turn there as well. Is Verstappen going to be able to open up an opportunity as we head down in towards T1 there? The Red Bull struggling with the top end there, and we slam the door shut through turn 1 there. And yeah, we hold on to P9 at the moment in this Grand Prix here, but trying to stick close to Weber and Perez as well. You know, the DRS is so important around this circuit here. We really do need to try and keep with these guys as best as possible here. But Verstappen still all over the back of us as well here. Is he going to be able to open up a move as we head down in towards sector 2 here? Now, once again, just that Red Bull just doesn't quite have enough at the top end speed here to really go for anything at the moment there. Especially, you know, we're trying to use some of the ERS, we're trying to use the revs, the extra fuel, everything like that as well. It is just not allowing Verstappen to really go for much at the moment here. And, you know, that is absolutely critical for myself because, you know, if we can just not have to worry about him as much, that could be really beneficial in the long run there. A little bit of a wobble as we head through the old turn 1 there. We can see still behind Perez and Weber here as we head it down through Magnus and Beckett's once more in this Grand Prix. Just about holding on ahead of Verstappen there. We take a bit of an alternate line through that corner, so Verstappen tries to keep the nose up the inside if he possibly can there. But look at that, Perez, a sitting duck down the back straight. We're going to be able to get past him, go full send up the inside of Weber as well, as we lost the 2 places a lap ago, and now we're back up into P7 once again of this Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc leads the way now as we head through the final couple of corners there. But yeah, you can see though at the moment Weber and Perez still all over the back of us there. But over the next couple of laps, as the pit stop window started to take effect there, Perez would dive it in, and I think Weber will get caught out behind him as well there. So Verstappen was still the one applying the pressure there. We make a big mistake as we head through turn 3 there. And Verstappen, is he going to be able to open up a switchback move on the exit there? I don't think he's quite been able to this time round, and hopefully we might be able to hold on. We've got no DRS to try and defend with this time around though, so it might be difficult. And yeah, Verstappen moves to the inside, has a look up the inside of ourselves as we head down in towards sector 2 there. And once again, just slamming the door shut there. He just slots in behind us there. Actually gets a really good run off the exit of the corner there, and he thinks about trying to hook it up right around the outside, but can't make it work this time around there. As now you can see lap 10. Is Verstappen going to try it once again here in this Grand Prix. You can see Vettel, though, struggling as well just in front of us. But look at the drive. Verstappen's got this time around straight up the inside. A bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between the pair of us. Shouldn't do too much damage to either of us there. And now Verstappen tries to hook it up round the outside through the hairpin here. Is he going to be able to make it work there? We squeeze him out just about into the gravel trap there. I think ever so slightly. Must have caught one wheel out there. But look at the drive. The Red Bull, just seemingly in the DRS zones, really struggles with it. It's clearly saved a lot of DRS. Or sorry, even ERS even, I should say. And yeah, really got the good run through the next couple of corners there. And, you know, we're just really having to manage everything at the moment there. It's coming through Sector 2. The rear tyre's starting to give up now. We're definitely going to have to think about pitting on the end of this lap here. As you can see, Weber even, I should say, still in the slipstream at the moment as we head down in towards the front. A couple of corners there, trying to get the run through. And you can see Weber does have a look up the inside there, but in towards the final chicane and braking as late as we can into the pit lane. We only just get the car slowed down there, 36 miles an hour as we enter the pit lane there. I was very worried that was going to be a speeding in the pit lane now, but you can see Weber all over the back of us as we come into the pit lane here. Is he going to be able to make the jump work in the pit stops here? Obviously, HAAS and Ferrari, the relationship's still obviously quite strong between the two teams, but, you know, as we're trying to make progress, Ferrari have slipped back. Not as many team orders coming into effect, you know, to affect our dynamic with them as well here. You can see coming out of the pit lane, though, Weber is still just behind us there. I think we've actually made we have made a marginal gain over the Ferrari there. Certainly getting a much better run out of the pit lane here, as you can see, rejoining the circuit. Back down in P18 now. I think that's Perez way off the rear of the field there. Not too sure what's happened to him over the course of the pit stop window there. I mean, he's lost a good 15-20 seconds to us in just the space of a couple of laps there. So yeah, really not too sure what's happened to him. But over the next couple of laps, though, everyone else now would be making their pit stop in this Grand Prix there. You can see we're going to slowly but surely shuffle our way back up through the order over the next couple of laps there. And most importantly, we've actually undercut Sebastian Vettel in this Grand Prix there, all over the back of Verstappen as well there. And on the cold tyres, we've got to capitalise on this. You know, strike whilst the iron is hot. And we get back around the outside. It moves to the inside for the next couple of corners there. And yeah, we're now back up into P10 of this Grand Prix here. Is Verstappen? No, he doesn't even have the DRS there. That's just how critical that move was at the right time there. And yeah, we're back up now into the top 10 of this Grand Prix here. But yeah, we've made a big undercut on Sebastian Vettel here. And Charles Leclerc, his old teammate as well, pitting onto a set of the hard compound tyres there. Really not thinking those tyres are going to be able to make it last towards the end of the Grand Prix there. They didn't want to take the gamble on the mediums here and struggling because those hard tyres do not work as well around this British Grand Prix circuit there. And you can just see how much extra pace we've got there. We look to the inside, do the same sort of move that we did to Verstappen a couple of laps ago there. And yeah, we're now back up into P5 of this Grand Prix now. So making really good progress at the moment now. And Bottas is another car on that set of the hard compound tyres here. So, you know, the potential maybe for P4 in this Grand Prix at the moment there, as everyone seems to be blundering their strategies here. But Verstappen and I, we need to work together at this stage of the Grand Prix here, because we could definitely both do with the extra points at this stage of the championship there. The gap to Bottas was about 4 seconds at this stage of the Grand Prix there, and obviously we had his teammate as well, Lucas Weber, who would quite happily sort of work with us as well at this stage of the Grand Prix there. But Verstappen, he was a man on a mission at the moment there. You can see putting out 6 tenths after making the move work through the final couple of corners there. So fantastic pace being shown by the Red Bull man once again there. But in the DRS with the slipstream, we could just about stick with him at the moment. We could just about hang on to Verstappen as well here. And like I said, we need to work together at the moment. So we're going to try and, you know, do a little bit, you know, almost NASCAR drafting style, where we just let each other back by as best as possible here. Whether Verstappen's such a fan of the idea is a very different question there. But you can see visibly how much closer we are to Valtteri Bottas as well as we head through the final couple of corners here. 9 laps to go now of this British Grand Prix here. 7 tenths up on my previous best there. And we've taken a 1.5 seconds out of Bottas there in a lap. And you can see by lap 19 here, Bottas, he was no longer very far ahead of us there. He was very clear. You can almost see the gearbox in the Ferrari car there. As you can see purple in the middle sector as well here. The pace was really strong at this stage of the Grand Prix there. You can see coming through the final couple of corners here, Bottas, surely he's not going to be able to hold on much longer ahead of us at the moment here. Lap 20, 1 lap later, we're in the DRS, we're tucked into the slipstream, and we're going to use absolutely everything the engine's got to give there as well. And we get up the inside and now up into P4 of the British Grand Prix here. And this was exactly what we needed at the moment here, ahead of our home crowd. I'm sure they'll be focusing on Hamilton as well, leading the way, but I'm sure, you know, if some miracle happened towards the end of the Grand Prix, a double British podium would certainly be something, you know, something not to complain about in this championship here. You can see Bottas, though, we are wary of how good that Ferrari drive is there. We slammed the door shut through turn 1 there. Certainly wasn't going to let him stick the nose up the inside, because that could have been a very, very big accident there. You know, the AI have a bit of a tendency to go for something like that, lock up and just understeer out wide into you there. So we were a little bit cautious about that at the moment there. And you can see over the next couple of laps, though, Verstappen would also make his way around to the Ferrari car as well here. So we were just trying to make the breakaway at the moment there, you know, get Verstappen out of the slipstream there and through the final corner. You can see the gap was now 1.3 seconds over Verstappen as well in this Grand Prix. So, you know, if we can make this work, we would certainly take that at the moment there. It's our first DNF of the day, and the safety car has been deployed. What is that all about? Daniel Ricciardo is out of the British Grand Prix here. What has happened to the Mercedes, man? It looks like, yeah, just a mechanical failure there. Parks it on the racing line. One of the Toro Rossos rams straight into the back of him there, and clearly not the safest place to leave the car. I guess not too sure about that at the end of the day there, but yeah, that would mean a safety car would come out, and that would leave us with a 2-lap sprint right at the very end of this British Grand Prix here. And you can see, unfortunately for me though, Danny Kvyat, the lapped Toro Rosso at the moment there, would unfortunately be in the way as we get ready for green flag racing once again here through the final couple of corners of lap 24 here. We need to get past the Toro Rosso as quickly as possible here. It's green flag racing there, but look at the tank slapper. We get out of the final corner there. Luckily, we somehow kept that pointing in the right direction there. That was certainly a heart-in-mouth moment as we head through turn 1 there. That was not what we needed. Still struggling with the rear end as we head down in towards turn 3 there. We got no temperature in the tyres at the moment there. You know, we were thinking, you know, potentially a podium was on the cards if we could get past Gasly here, but pretty much instantly we knew we had to focus on the cars behind here. Verstappen, he was going to go for absolutely everything at the end of this Grand Prix there. Having a look up the inside pretty much straight away there, and we slammed the door shut very, very aggressively from the Red Bull man. You know, we want to hold on to this 4th place as best as possible here as we head out the next couple of corners though. Still trying to get the power down as early as possible here and just focusing on absolutely everything at the moment. Trying to get the run, trying to manage the fuel, everything like that. Fuel shouldn't be an issue between now and the end. The the ERS as well should be okay, you know, where we basically had a couple of laps just to recharge. We're effectively, we've got 2 qualifying runs on worn tyres is what we're doing at the moment there. Through the final couple of corners of Sector 2, and you can see Verstappen, is he going to be close enough to go for anything at the moment here? I don't think he is as we head down the next straight. Is he going to be close enough? No, he's not this time around there, so we live to fight on as we get ready for the final lap of this British Grand Prix there. Is he going to go for anything into the final couple of corners? No, he thinks better of it once again there, and now you can see 1 lap to go of the British Grand Prix there. Hamilton fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc still leads the way at the moment there. I'm sure the British fans would love to see a winner there from Britain there, but Verstappen tries to go full send through T1. They can't make it work this time round, and we still are holding on at the moment to this P4. What a result it would be. What a return to the HAAS Road to Glory it would be as well here. Skipping on now in towards Magnussen Beckett's one final time in this Grand Prix, and Weber is now managed to slip past Max Verstappen as well here. Big moves coming out through the Magnussen Beckett section of the final lap of this Grand Prix here, and Weber, now we've got to watch for him, the Ferrari, much better top end than the Red Bull there. You can see braking nice and late in towards the final few corners there. Weber tries to lead up around the outside. We slam the door shut. Vettel might be able to capitalise on this as well. Out of nowhere, in towards the final couple of corners we go though. Hulkenberg, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Through the final corner we go though. It's P4 and our best result in a long time in the HAAS Road to Glory career mode there. What a race at the end of the day.
That was brilliant stuff from Racing Point today. What a superb victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
The Racing Point team will be very happy with today's performance and the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork, and a well-deserved first-place finish. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Sebastian Vettel will be very happy with that result as he extends his championship lead. Some amazing talents out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Racing Point continue to run away with it out in front. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the British Grand Prix, and what a race it was at the end of the day. I did get it wrong, it wasn't Charles Leclerc leading towards the end, it was Nico Hülkenberg, actually, who did go on to win the Grand Prix there. Hamilton from 5th to 2nd, 4/10 off the race victory. I'm sure he would have loved to try and take home that race win, but I mean, 2nd, 4th, and then 11th and 12th for the British boys, not quite what we would have wanted at the end of the day there. But Pierre Gasly rounds out the podium places ahead of myself in 4th, and yeah, big haul of points for Haas in this race there. Lucas Weber 5th ahead of Vettel, and then Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, Perez, and then Lando Norris, Devon Butler, Sainz, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Albon, Raikkonen, and Kvyat round out the finishes there. And it was actually my teammate Romain Grosjean as well as Daniel Ricciardo that didn't make it through to the end of that Grand Prix there. So a bit of a mixed result for Haas, but I mean, Grosjean isn't scoring any points anyway. So I think, you know, we'll take the 12 points at the end of the day there. And yeah, what a race that was at the end of the day there. Hülkenberg jumps back past Hamilton as well into P3 on the standings there. We jump Lando Norris as well there, as you can see now, up into P9 there once again in the standings there. I mean, we're pretty close to Williams by ourselves at the moment, so perhaps maybe, you know, sort of P5 is on the cards in the Constructors' Championship, but there's a long way to go in this season. We will wait and see about that there. Yeah, Vettel still leads the way though, ahead of Verstappen, a 27-point margin now at the top of the standings there. I'm sure Vettel is just looking to try and further extend that as best as possible, obviously being the reigning world champion at the moment there. But yeah, 4 points off Williams in the Constructors there. Racing Point still lead over Red Bull and Renault there with Ferrari. And you can see below us is Mercedes, and then obviously Toro Rosso, McLaren and Alfa still yet to score. But thank you all so much for watching this video once again. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here, and hopefully you want to see more of the Haas Road to Glory. And yeah, I will be back at some point with the German Grand Prix.